A question I get asked all the time is, what do you do when you don't have any experience and you're applying to grad school or you're applying to jobs? How do you get that first experience that even makes you a qualified candidate? And the answer to that question is fellowships. I love fellowships. They're an amazing opportunity to gain skills, to build a network, and to add to your resume. So a fellowship is kind of in between a scholarship and a job. Many different types of organizations host fellowships, whether that is private companies, nonprofits, government agencies, or universities. In a fellowship, you're often placed in a role that's somewhat like a job role, but what makes a fellowship different than a traditional job is there's often a form of professional capacity building or leadership development where people are training you, providing support, providing mentorship, providing funding to help you be successful in that position or in that role. Sometimes fellowships are less like a job and more providing you training and support and mentorship. To give you some examples on the wide range of fellowships, I'll talk about a few fellowships that were really impactful to my career growth. In undergrad, I applied for the Clinton Global Initiative University Program. This is hosted by the Clinton Foundation. In this program, you apply with something called your commitment to action, where you take an idea and you apply it in the real world. And that can be some sort of volunteer project you want to do or something that's trying to make an impact in your community. When I did this program, I had no experience. I didn't have any real jobs at the time. And I applied with an idea to do this volunteer project in Bolivia, working with architecture students and partnering with an orphanage in Bolivia to redesign their orphanage for handicap accessibility. And I know that sounds something big and really hard to do, which it was. But through the program, you get access to a lot of resources to help you turn your idea into action. There is training and workshops you can do. You get access to a mentor to help you along the way. There's even a conference hosted by Bill and Chelsea Clinton where you get to go to trainings and workshops and see presentations from thought leaders in the field. And it's a really incredible opportunity to network and to learn. And what was great about that program is that I had no experience prior to that program, but when I completed that program after a year, I got to write about in my other job applications, look, I did this project in Bolivia where I brought these people together and I made this project happen in the real world. And that's an incredible level of experience that you can start developing in a program like this. You don't have to have any previous experience. You can just have an idea of something you're passionate about, something you want to explore further, and you can apply for the program and then get the support you need to actually gain experience working on that thing in the real world. Right after I graduated, I applied for a Fulbright fellowship to do research in Brazil. The Fulbright is funded by the U.S. Department of State, which is the largest government-funded international exchange program in the U.S. With the Fulbright, there's many different types of awards with different criteria and eligibility, whether you are just coming out of undergrad or you're a professional or you're someone with a PhD. There's a whole range of different awards for different levels of your career. With the Fulbright, I was able to go research in the favelas of Rio, where I was looking at the housing conditions and seeing how do these conditions actually impact people's health. Although I was mostly doing independent research, I still got interesting support and opportunities from the Fulbright program. For example, President Obama came to speak while I was there and I got tickets to go to that presentation. I also am part of an alumni community with really awesome people. There's conferences I could go to. All sorts of interesting opportunities came out of doing the Fulbright. And the Fulbright was really an extension of what I had done in Bolivia. That first project in Bolivia, I had no experience, but then when I went to go apply for my research in Brazil, I was able to talk about the work that I had done in Bolivia, and that enabled me to get the award to go to Brazil. And then this project in Brazil, looking at a certain neighborhood and its characteristics and health, that was the seed that moved me into a career in city planning and public health. Prior to that, I didn't have any experience in public health and city planning, but with that experience, I was then able to apply for jobs and apply to grad school. And so the Fulbright was really instrumental in helping me explore the fields that I was interested in and provided an amazing stepping stone to my future career path. In grad school, I did a fellowship with the Greenlining Institute. Greenlining is a public policy nonprofit dedicated to eradicating racial injustice in many areas, from voting rights to health. And what makes Greenlining incredible is they have something called the Greenlining Leadership Academy, which is dedicated to developing leaders of color to go fight racial injustice in whatever field they go to work into. When I applied to this fellowship, I had zero experience in policy, but I was very passionate about environmental justice that they worked on. They throw you into the deep end of doing policy work. So I was completely embedded in the staff, working with the health director on doing research, and I wrote and published a policy report. And even though I had no experience doing that, I got so much support from the staff in training me how to do those things, and I got to go to Sacramento and work on policy directly. And the work I did at Greenlining ended up being more impactful to my career than grad school because I was doing real work and I was gaining real experience that I was able to put on my resume. And from that organization, I developed a really great network of leaders doing work in the field. I had a great team of people who supported me and helped me when it came to applying for jobs. And so that experience was really impactful. And this is why I love fellowships, because it's not just about you doing work, it's also about you growing and you developing and learning from a network of people who want to support you. I highly recommend fellowships as an opportunity to grow your experience and test out your passion in a new field. And there are thousands and thousands of fellowships out there, and you can find the fellowships that are the right fit for you. For example, there's like biology summer fellowship programs where you get to go travel to the Galapagos and do research there. There are fellowships in the arts where you can go travel and study dance or art in Italy or something like that. There are all kinds of fellowships out there, one supporting specific types of people or specific phases in your career. There's even presidential fellowships where you work for a presidential administration when you're maybe higher up in your career. There really are fellowships at every stage of your career, and they're really great for gaining experience or trying out a new field. You can go to profellow.com to check out different fellowships. They have a database of thousands of fellowships as well as advice on applying for fellowships. You can also go to your university office of fellowships where they may have advice for you on applying to different fellowships. And this is why I'm kicking off a whole series of videos on how to apply for fellowships. I'll be talking about some specific fellowships like the Fulbright Fellowship and show you examples of how to apply and those sort of things. So stay tuned, like and subscribe if you want to follow along.